This is In Demand Uncut with Jim Gellatly at the cutting edge of new music.
It's Friday the 13th of April 2012, the day that Amy Macdonald's new single went to radio, got its first airplay today. Friday the 13th, what are you playing at?
I know, it was a terrible choice, wasn't it?
Are you superstitious?
No, I'm not really, so it doesn't actually bother me, but I just hope that it's not unlucky for me, but I don't think about it too much.
Ah, we see. I mean, talking about the unlucky thing, I just noticed on the press release, it actually says the first single, Slow It Down, goes to radio from Friday the 13th of June.
Hopefully that's the only bit of bad luck that will come from being on the Friday the 13th. Hopefully that's the worst thing.
It's a cracking single, and we're going to hear it a wee bit later on. Also on the show this week, I've got an interview with Paul Weller. Now he's a guy that you know, isn't he?
Yes, I recorded my second album in his studio, and got him to play a few bits on it as well, and that came about from the first tour that I ever done, which was supporting him over Europe. So we've just kind of kept in touch, and it's quite nice to say that you know Paul Weller.
No guests or anything on this new album though?
No, nobody on this one, just me and my band. I think that I was so into it that we were just so concerned with making it as best as it can be, and we weren't really thinking about getting other people in.
You've only just released the name of the record.
Yes.
Share it with us.
It's one of the songs on the album. There's a track called Life in a Beautiful Light, and I actually wrote that when I was out running in the open, and I usually never do that. It's something that I've recently started, and it was a sunny day, which usually doesn't happen in Glasgow, and I was just really happy, and I had some amazing songs come on my iPod. It was on shuffle, and one of them was My Way by Frank Sinatra, and it just made me feel so happy, and I just thought, oh, life is amazing, how beautiful it looks when the sun's shining, and that's where that song came from. And then when it came to naming the album, I just thought it was perfect, really, especially seeing as there's so much doom and gloom around now, and everything on the news is bad news, so I just thought it's nice to try and be positive.
My Way doesn't seem like a running song to me.
Oh, it is.
It's a bit, do you just start quite slowly?
You just get so into it, I had to stop myself from singing.
And then you're sprinting by the end of it.
Yeah, totally.
And did it my...
Totally.
And then stop. And go, and did it my way. Fantastic.
Yeah, I was nearly dancing.
You took a wee bit of time out before you started the record. Is that the first time you've done something like that?
Yeah, I took the whole year basically.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I had practically all of 2011, bar a few little commitments and a few gigs here and there, but basically the whole of the year. And I'd never planned to write an album, like I'd never said I must write. I was just laid back about it, and it was brilliant because I never felt like I was writing anything. And in the summer I went to my producer and manager's house to do some demos, and I said to him, look, I've not got many things, but I'll just do what we've got. And I'd done 8 songs, and then I was back there a couple of months later with another 8, going, gosh, I've got 16 songs, I don't really know where they came from, I don't ever remember sitting and writing because it was just so natural. So it felt really good, and I feel really proud of it and really excited.
So do you think there's a different feel to this record then, because of that?
I think it goes back to what the first album was like a bit more, because that, like they say with your first album, you've got your whole life to write it, and I think this one felt a bit more like that because it's a bit more natural, and it's basically songs about everything, because that's how I get my inspiration. It's from watching the news or just being with my friends or going out, and that's what I've done for the past year, so that's what the songs are about again.
I remember the first time that I heard your music when you sent me a demo, and I played it on the radio, and I was the first person ever to play Amy on the radio. Have I ever mentioned that? And I remember that you were pretty young at the time,
yeah.
But you had this really sort of powerful, dare I say it, deep voice,
yeah.
For one so young. How has your voice developed?
I can't actually believe my range now. I can hit notes that I would never have dreamed of hitting like 4 years ago, and I think it's just the amount of touring. Like, that's one thing that I've done since I released my first album, is just constantly play gigs in every type of setting, in every scenario. one of my crew, my sound guy, texted me today saying I'll listen to the radio, hear the song, and I'll see you next week up a mountain. Because this is the second gig that I'm going to be doing up a mountain. I've already played up a mountain in Switzerland, and next week we're up a mountain again. And he texted me back saying, I'm going to start brandishing the fact that you're the person that's played to the most people up a mountain in the history of people playing up a mountain. He's like, I don't know if it's true, but I can't imagine there's been that many gigs up a mountain.
Sights on conquering Everest?
My dad's actually, my dad turned 60 this year, and my dad's a keen hill walker. And I thought
Everest's not quite a hill. You've not given him a trip to the top of Everest, have you?
Not to the top. I don't think he'll manage the top, but I've bought him a trip to base camp. So he's doing that in November, and he's really excited. He's just always talking about it, but I think he'll need to start going to the gym a bit, or it might be a bit tough.
Gee, a couple of your passions out with music are reflected on the album. Cars, driving,
yes.
The new single, which we'll talk about soon, but also football. There's a couple of tracks that relate to football, including one about the rivalry in Glasgow.
Yes, obviously over the last year that's been particularly prominent with all the awful press, and that side of it is completely awful, and I hate that side of it. But from my point of view, I have so many friends that support Celtic, and we just have such good banter. I obviously support Rangers, and some of them are my closest friends, and we have friendly rivalry, and I think there's so much of that as well, where it is just friendly rivalry, but people always people always talk about the bad side of it, and when people hear about it around the world, it's the bad side they hear, and I just think that it'd be nice to say that it's not all bad, and that's what that song's about. It's just about the passion and just about Glasgow really, and everything that goes on along with it.
So it's from the positive
angle.
What's going on in the song? I've not heard it yet.
Yeah, it's basically just about Glasgow, singing about Glasgow, about the city, and then the line says, but the green and the blue come between me and you. But then at the end, the song finishes with the green and the blue, they unite me and you, we're both Glasgow through and through. And I just thought it was quite positive.
Would it not be wonderful if they played it at Parkhead?
Sorry?
At Celtic Park?
It might, yeah, possibly, but I don't know if it will be available yet by that time.
No, I mean, when, further down the line.
I prefer it to be played at Ibrox.
Yeah, well, see, there you're showing your true colours there. No, but what about getting played at Celtic Park during a Celtic Rangers game, totally. Played by the Celtic guys? That would be fantastic.
I think that would just kind of highlight exactly what my point is, that it's good that you can come together, and I've got so many friends, like I said, and we just have a friendly rivalry, and there's none of the other rubbish that's always associated with it.
From the title Slow It Down, you might think the single's ballad.
Yeah.
And it sort of starts off quite slowly, and then it speeds up, and it's like boom, 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 and it does relate to your passion for driving, and driving fast.
Not all the time,
no?
not breaking the law. But
there's a line in it about you don't like traffic lights?
That's not true, that's true. Yeah, I've just always been a massive kind of petrol head. I just love it. From the minute I passed my test, as soon as I got my first car, I was like, oh, I love this, and I love driving, and I love going on long drives and getting the radio turned up, and I just find it really relaxing. And I've done a few things over the past years with a lot of car companies, and I've been able to actually drive cars on ice and drive cars around track, and this has just fueled my passion even more. And I got to sing as well at the Geneva Motor Show, which made it even worse, so they're just kind of fueling the fire. And I remember one day just out driving, again, beautiful day, which doesn't happen a lot, but I seem to get quite a lot of them for the inspiration of this, and just driving about, happy as Larry really, just with my friends, and that's where that song came from.
Well, if I'm talking about one song getting played at Celtic Park, this is a song that surely at some point will appear on Top Gear.
Yeah, I'd hope so. I'd love to go on Top Gear. I think we have begged them a few times, but so have hundreds of other folks. I think they've got like a waiting list this long of people that just want to go on and drive around the track. But fingers crossed, maybe this time.
Amy, brilliant to see you again.
You too.
Good stuff. The single's fab. Can't wait to hear the rest of the record. We're going to hear the single right now. This is Slow It Down. It's Amy Macdonald on In Demand.